All right. Yep. Blue line privilege right here. Nothing says police state like a 30-day jail sentence for fatal shooting. Well, a former Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy will serve 30 days in jail in connection with a fatal 2019 shooting in which authorities fired more than 30 rounds into the back of a moving car under the terms of a plea deal reached Friday in a downtown LA courtroom. Andrew Lyons pleaded no contest to assault with a firearm and assault under the color of authority in the killing of 24-year-old Ryan Twyman outside a Willowbrook apartment complex in June 2019. The case marks the first time in roughly 2 decades that an LA County law enforcement officer has been sentenced to jail or prison for an on-duty shooting. Imagine that. Lyons also was placed on 2 years probation. He must give up his certification as a peace officer in California under the terms of the deal, meaning he can never serve as a law enforcement officer in the state again. He'll just move to Arizona. The former deputy initially was charged with voluntary manslaughter and assault with a semi-automatic firearm against Lyons in 2022, nearly 3 years after he and another deputy. Wait, the former deputy initially was charged with voluntary manslaughter and assault with a semi-automatic firearm against Lyons in 2022, nearly 3 years after he and another deputy, Christopher Muse, shot and killed Twyman. Sorry about that, folks. Muse was not charged in the shooting but received a 30-day suspension. Oh. Lyons would have faced a maximum of 11 years in state prison if convicted of voluntary manslaughter. If he violates his probation, Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge Eleanor Hunter said he could be sent to prison for more than 12 years. Better not violate your probation, buddy. The courtroom was packed with dozens of Twyman's relatives and supporters, many wearing shirts emblazoned with his face or jackets that read Black Lives Matter. A handful of current and former deputies also sat stoically in the room as Lyons agreed to the deal. Twyman's family clapped loudly as Lyons was handcuffed by 2 of his former colleagues and led out of the room. What you did, you hunted my son down, you and your rogue partner. You assassinated him, said Twyman's father, Charles. You didn't give him a chance to raise his hands. Weeks before the fatal confrontation, gang investigators seized illegal weapons from Twyman's home while searching for him, according to a sheriff's department summary of the incident issued. Let's hear this news grooming here. They eventually located a Kia Forte that Twyman was known to drive near the apartment complex on 132nd and San Pedro Streets, authorities said. Video of the shooting shows Lyons and Muse approaching Twyman's parked car with guns drawn. Twyman began driving in reverse and struck Muse with an open door. Lyons and Muse both opened fire and continued shooting as the car rolled backward and came to a stop, according to the recording. Lyons then grabbed a rifle from his patrol car, took up position behind a nearby parked truck, and continued shooting. In all, the deputies fired 34 rounds at the car. Twyman was hit multiple times and died. He left behind 3 sons. A passenger in the car was not injured. Well, that's a miracle. Lyons did not speak during the hearing. In a statement, attorneys Nicole Castronova and Michael Raines claimed the prosecution was motivated by the politics of Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon, who swept into office after the campaign focused on criminal justice reform and political accountability in 2020. Oh, Mr. Lyons has reluctantly agreed to accept a plea in this matter to end the 15-year law enforcement career out of his belief that it is in his best interest of his family. Lyons' attorneys, who said last year, waived their client's rights to a preliminary hearing where they could have challenged the evidence against him. An autopsy, however, showed both Lyons and Muse fired rounds that proved fatal, according to Deputy District Attorney Christopher Gay. So Gascon called Friday's result historic and said that despite the short jail term sentence that Lyons will serve, he believed that the mere fact that the law enforcement officer faced consequences for an unjustified killing would send a message. There is never going to be enough to bring Ryan back. This individual has been convicted of 2 felonies. He will never be able to be a peace officer in the state of California again. But there's 49 other states that he could jump on. The shooting appeared to violate a sheriff's department policy against shooting at moving vehicles. Under that policy, deputies are not allowed to shoot at a moving car unless the occupants are threatening a department member or another person presently with deadly force. The moving vehicle itself does not constitute a deadly threat under the policy. Ooh. L.A. County settled a wrongful death lawsuit brought by Twyman's family for $3.9 million in 2020. At the time, then Sheriff Alex Villanueva said one of the deputies involved in the shooting had been terminated, but did not specify which one. Gascon confirmed Friday that Lyons was fired. The sheriff's department said in a statement that it expects all deputies will perform their duties to the highest moral and ethical standards and will hold individuals accountable when actions are not aligned with our values and practices. Yeah, right. The sheriff's department is responsible for maintaining the safety of our communities, blah, 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 convictions. Okay. All right, what else do we have? Twyman's mother, Tommy, called the sentence bittersweet, said the victim's father suggested in a courtroom that the punishment was too light. My grandkids are asking my wife what happened to my daddy. Why did he have to die? When they ask me what happened to the man who killed him, I'm going to have to say he got probation. There's no victory here. So, all right, that's the end of the story, folks. We know what's going on. This guy's got 30 days for shooting this young man that was trying to flee the scene. Take a look at this photo, folks. These guys are shooting away, and then this guy runs back and gets his rifle and keeps it going. Well, accountability, 30 days in jail. Not enough.
More than 4 years after a man was shot to death in a car outside a Willowbrook apartment, one of the deputies involved in that shooting is going to jail.
Eyewitness News reporter Christian Cordero says the parents of the father killed in the gunfire face the former deputy at today's sentencing.
The click of handcuffs is a sound often heard in this downtown LA courthouse, but rarely like this. Former LA County Sheriff's Deputy Andrew Lyons is taken behind bars to an applause on behalf of Ryan Twyman's friends, family, and advocates. 24-year-old father of three was sitting in this white car June 2019 when two deputies approached with guns drawn. Twyman put the car in reverse, hitting one, then both started shooting. Lyons went back to the patrol car to get a rifle. Combined, they fired at least 34 shots, killing Twyman. Officials said Twyman was under investigation for felony weapons charges. At the time, prosecutors say he was unarmed. His parents faced Lyons today.
Aren't there a couple of ways that you could have thought of getting him out the car besides of what you did? Because you came there to do what you did.
No reaction from Lyons, whose fate was already decided.
There's no victory here today. Only positive outcome here today is that you will not be able to continue doing what you did to my son.
In the outrage after the shooting, Twyman's family said he was murdered. For how heavy of a word that is out here, it takes on a whole new meaning in there.
In regards to this disposition,
prosecutors eventually went with an involuntary manslaughter charge that, if convicted, could have landed Lyons 11 years in prison. But the case was instead settled on 2 felony assault charges.
To this charge, how do you plead? You understand a no contest plea has the same force and effect as a guilty plea.
30 days in jail plus 2 years of probation. The legal facts of the case are up for interpretation. Outside of court, Lyons' defense team said he did not kill Twyman and accused the prosecution of being politically motivated by waiving their preliminary.
Well, one thing's for sure, he's got a Betty Crocker hairdo and a black ring, and he killed somebody.
In our hearing, though, his attorneys never took the opportunity to challenge the evidence in court. When asked how this decision will affect law enforcement, former LAPD officer turned LA County District Attorney George Gascon said agencies will likely reiterate department policies.
Reality is that particular case, the behavior of the deputies was contrary to their training, was contrary to their policy, so I'm not sure that the sheriff department could have done any differently.
In 2021, after an investigation, the LASD fired Lyons. This conviction goes a step further.
He will never be able to be a peace officer in the state of California again.
Well, that is a tragic story, but it's an all too common story.
The